and Lakeland. 10 state titles between the two programs and always among Florida's elite. The Panthers dominated the Dreadnaughts in their last 2 postseason meetings. Tonight, Lakeland is out for playoff payback. It's a showdown between powerhouses in the second round. Panthers and Dreadnaughts next on Bright House Sports Network. Epic playoff showdowns, nothing new at Bryant Stadium in Lakeland. We could be in store for another here tonight. It's a second round matchup that has the feel of a state final. The second-ranked Plant Panthers, who won here in their last playoff meeting at Bryant Stadium over Lakeland, comes in to face the 6th-ranked Dreadnaughts in our Bright House Sports Network Game of the Week. And both of these teams now just 4 wins away from a state title. The winner will face either Martin County or Viera in the Class 7A Region 2 final next week. It's a perfect night for football, and we have 2 elite programs here on the field. You can't ask for much more than that. Rishi Barron and former Bucks quarterback Jeff Carlson. And Jeff, when you get a matchup like this, it's usually later on in the playoffs, but we get this one in round 2.
Yeah, that's why I've been jacked all week, because this, like you said, they're as close to a state final. These 2 teams always, to get them together now it's just a treat.
And we have 2 of the best coaches in the state who are featured in this matchup. Robert Weiner and Bill Castle, 10 state championships among them. These guys know how to get it done.
No doubt about it. That's why they're always in it. They've got records all over the place as far as how many consecutive times they're to the playoffs, and here we go. This is going to be a battle not only of those 2 minds across the field from each other, but these 2 football teams. It should be fabulous.
Plant lost its starting quarterback Rex Culpepper to a torn ACL over the summer, but Dane Franson has stepped into his shoes, and as a junior, couldn't ask for much more than what he's given.
Listen, I've known Dane since he was in 6th grade, coached him in 7th grade. He is just a football player from top to bottom, and now he's playing quarterback, and he does it on both the ground, and he's throwing the ball pretty well, and he's continuing to grow each week. So Coach Weiner's very happy with him.
On the other side of the field, one of the most dynamic running backs in all of the state, A.J. Davis, who's coming off arguably his best game of the year.
This guy's just a smooth runner. He's got so much interest from all the colleges because he's just that guy. And Lakeland is going to need him to have a really nice game tonight, a big game. And it is on his shoulders, I think, for this football team.
These 2 teams are hot, too. Lakeland has won 5 straight. Plant has won 6 straight. Lakeland got a dynamic performance from James Robinson. 2 quick touchdowns in the last game of the week here. Can he do it again? It's Plant and Lakeland next on our Game of the Week. It's the second round of the playoffs, and what a matchup we have for you tonight. The 2nd-ranked Plant Panthers and the 6th-ranked Lakeland Dreadnaughts, 10 state championships between them. Lindsay LaCorey is now down on the sideline to speak with the head coach of the Panthers, Robert Weiner. Lindsay?
Thanks a lot, Rishi. Coach, what is the last point of emphasis before you walk out in a playoff game like this, with this atmosphere and in a place that you've had success before?
Well, first of all, it's just to forget about the atmosphere and just play football. As soon as you cross the lines, all the other stuff that went around it, all those numbers up there and the numbers that we have on their field house, they don't mean anything. It's our time for our team versus their time for the 2015 team, and you got to go out and play your best ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Rishi?
Thank you, Lindsay. Coach Weiner and Plant won the toss, have deferred to the second half. Lakeland will receive the opening kickoff. Plant, as you see, wearing the white jersey and gold helmets. Lakeland all in black. Jeff, one thing Coach Weiner said to us, one thing would happen tonight. They will not be intimidated, and that will not be why they go home. He's got his players ready to go.
Nothing could intimidate Plant or Lakeland. Nothing Plant could do could intimidate Lakeland, and vice versa. These teams have been there, done that, and this is why we're excited to be here tonight.
Sure are. Plant has won 4 state championships under Coach Weiner, while Lakeland has 6 under head coach Bill Castle. And back deep to receive, A.J. Davis and James Robinson for Lakeland, 2 of the best recruits in the entire state. Kicking it their way is Stephen Yaffe, who last week against Kathleen had 5 touchbacks among his 6 kickoffs. And we are underway. Looks like touchback number 1 for Yaffe tonight goes out of the end zone and that's where this Lakeland offense will take over. It's been very dynamic the last couple of weeks. Beat Sickles 55-26 in round one, the third most playoff points in the history of the school. And Jeff, Holden Hotchkiss has been at his best here late in the season.
And they're going to need him to be very good as they continue to move on. They're always a good running team. We go back to always talking about Chris Rainey and a couple of other guys that have come through. And they've got that guy in the backfield in Davis. But Hotchkiss is really, I think a lot is going to have to be continue to more each week put on his shoulders as well. We'll see if that 56% and 14 touchdowns can come into play tonight.
Triplets to the right on first down, set up the screen. That's Tariq Young, and he's pushed out of bounds by Michael Murphy. The Lakeland offense, as I said, putting up big numbers lately. Xavier Allen, the fullback, weren't sure if he was going to go, had been battling an injury, had 5 touchdowns last week against Sickles. Young, who you just saw with the reception, a 97-yard touchdown in our last game of the week here against Kathleen. And then on the offensive line, Seth Roy and George Madden, their leaders there. Roy nursing an ankle injury that he got in that Kathleen game.
I'll tell you what, Rishi, that first down was very well defended by Murphy and by the outside guys that allowed Murphy to get a clean tackle and a loss for 1.
I formation for 2nd and 11, and flag comes and whistle before the play. It's going to be a false start.
Got the right guard jump.
Snap. Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's referee John Ferreira. You see Bill Castle. What more could you ask from this man? 61 times that they have won in the playoffs, this program, in 40 seasons for Castle, closing in on 400 wins. Coach Wiener called him the toughest competitor on earth. We know both of these coaches will pull out every stop tonight. 2nd and 16, Hotchkiss pumps, throws downfield for Robinson, has it over his shoulder, and crosses the 50-yard line. What a big play from Robinson, who we saw touchdowns of 55 and 60 yards in the first quarter against Kathleen.
Well, also, what a change from what Lakeland and Bill Castle have done forever. They're going to start on the ground. They're going to just pound it and see what they can do. And if they need a play action pass, they go for it. They open up with a quick screen to the right, goes for -1. They come back and go deep. This may not be the Dreadnaughts of old. Let's see.
36 yards on that completion. Robinson rated the 4th best junior receiver in the entire country. Sure looked like it there.
Well, sure open up the inside for the running game later when you can be successful early with that passing game.
First down from midfield. Defensive line in there, and Bo Peak with a tackle for a loss. And Peak, a guy that you need to look out for all game, a transfer from Berkeley Prep, really has changed the dynamic of this defensive line. He's a Stanford commit. At linebacker, Joe Ryan, what more can you say about him? The Army commit, guy who Wiener says bleeds Panther gold. And then in the secondary, Scoop Bradshaw at strong safety, a 3-year starter. One of the top 5 open fielder tacklers Plant has ever had, according to Coach Wiener.
Earlier in the season, we did not see Bo Peak. He's been injured a lot throughout the year. Big man in the middle right there, started off great.
This defense has crushed the run all season long. 2nd down for Lakeland. It's A.J. Davis, and nowhere to go for him either. On the tackle, 3 players, including Peak and Davis back.
Well, it really was Bo Peak. Watch as we see the replay from behind. He sheds his block. As you see, it comes down, and who's the first guy? That is Bo Peak on the shoulder. I thought the ball was going to come out. I think lucky to keep it, but a long 3rd down situation. Maybe we see why they went to the pass early. They don't want to run at Bo Peak.
Well, this rush defense has only allowed 42.8 rush yards per game in every win that Plant has, and Peak, a couple tackles for a loss already. First 3rd down of the game for Lakeland, 3rd and 13 from the 46-yard line. Hotchkiss with 4 wide, sets up the screen for Robinson, has some room to work, cuts inside, gets the first down, and takes it down to the 36-yard line of the Panthers.
I'll tell you what, whether it was a screen pass or whether it was up the field, they have to throw to the left if Plant is going to defend them like this. This is one-on-one to the outside, and they ran the screen, so they got their blockers out in front. It's a huge play. But if I don't think they can leave number 4 in a one-on-one situation all night long. I think they're going to have to play over the top of that with the safety if they want to be successful.
2 receptions for 53 yards for Robinson after that 17-yard completion, and 3rd down conversion sets up 1st and 10 from the 36.
Expecting the run.
There is the run. Davis actually may have crossed the line of scrimmage this time, but that defense up there to step in his face again. Scoop Bradshaw on the hit.
Yeah, this was all about stopping the run on 1st and 10. They had everybody up close. Scoop Bradshaw, you just said, he was only about 7-8 yards off the ball as the deepest guy on the field. So they said, no, at 1st and 10, they're going to run it this time. Played it well.
No gain on the play. A.J. Davis coming off his best game of the year. 195 yards on 14 carries, and that win over Sickles. Hotchkiss looking for Robinson again. Reception and touchdown for James Robinson.
And this is, Rishi, it's why I said it, what was it, 60 seconds ago or 90 seconds ago. You can't do that. He's going to beat your man one-on-one. And this is just thrown up in the air. This is up. Let your biggest guy, best guy go get the ball. He does just that, and it's 6-0.
37 yards on the touchdown reception from Robinson, number 8 on the year. What a drive for him. Mackenzie McDonald in for the extra point, and it is good. Fire the cannons, 7-0 Lakeland thanks to Mr. James Robinson and his ultimate first drive.
Pat Cooper's a good defensive back. He's 5'10", Young is 6'3", and it is a mismatch in a one-on-one situation that number 4 is going to win the majority of the time. They're going to have to play a safety over the top. They cannot sit in that situation, but what that does is then allow that running game to start being a little bit better. But I think that front 7 for Plant can hold the running game at least pretty well. I think Hotchkiss will just keep throwing it up there if they give him the one-on-one matchup.
Robinson is as good as it gets, and another postseason meeting between these 2 programs who have gone deep in the playoffs so many years. It's the 5th time that they've met. Lakeland won the last 2 epic games for James Wilder. Excuse me, Plant won the last 2 epic games for James Wilder in those, and Lakeland 1979 and 84. That 79 game important because Plant came in undefeated to that one.
A different world from the one they know now. Unprecedented success under Robert Wiener. Yes, they had some time with Roland Acosta, but this guy came in and it has been amazing. The community support that's turned over and everything else is just, Plant is its own entity.
Kickoff deep, Wap Fillier will return. Crosses the 15, close to the 20-yard line, and that's where this Plant Panther team will get its first hands on the football offensively. Dane Franson, the junior quarterback, got the Lions bulk of the reps for the first time last week. He'd been splitting time with Kyle Trina. We'll probably see Trina a bit today. And what more can you say about Franson? He gives them a dynamic that they didn't have with Culpepper in terms of running the football. Rex could run it a little bit. Franson is even more effective with 622 yards on him.
Well, he comes in as a guy that played fullback for them last year, and he's just a thick-necked kid, and he'll do whatever it takes. He's doing it both ways, and like you said, he gives them a dynamic that they haven't had really.
He'll keep it on 1st down, and great penetration into the backfield. Kelvin Broom makes the stop.
Great penetration early. This is what everybody runs in the world now. Run the guy in the motion on the jet sweep and then run that read option. But Lakeland has seen that from every team probably they've played this year, and they were deep on that one. It got it back to the line of scrimmage, but they're going to mix it up here for Plant's offense. You know that.
Broom, who has offers from Elkhorn State, FAMU, and Idaho, making the play there. And this Lakeland defense come into play early on. We saw some big stops by the Panthers, but the big plays from James Robinson did them in on that first drive. Second and 11 from the 17. Fillier in motion. They'll pitch it to Tykees Keaton Baldwin, and some good pursuit again by Broom and the rest of the defense.
I don't know if it was 20 or 8 getting outside, but that was great pursuit early.
Here's a look at the Plant offense. You saw Keaton Baldwin. He had 134 yards and 2 touchdowns against Kathleen last week. And then on the offensive line, right tackle Felipe Fernandez at 300 pounds with offers from UCF and Tulane. He's a 2-star tackle over on that right side.
Jaquaria Smith and Torian Hampton just beat the blockers. They were way outside of them, no chance at all. First long 3rd down situation for Plant.
Granton handoff, Keaton Baldwin beats the tackler, has the first down and more. Crosses the 40-yard line, and a nice change of direction on the 25-yard gain.
Lakeland really set up to rush the passer with the outside end running way outside, and you see that great move by Baldwin to pick up the first down.
Keaton Baldwin, a young man who started for 2 years at linebacker, still probably would and go both ways if they weren't so deep at that position. Keaton Baldwin, first down carry, crosses the 40, and then pushed right back. The Lakeland defense making the hit there. It was Jaquaria Smith, and here's the rest of that defensive unit. On the defensive line, a dozen sacks between bookends Matt Kramer and Jaquan Lawrence. At linebacker, Danquaris Longs, their leading tackler for the 2nd straight year. And in the secondary, Torian Hampton saw a tackle for a loss on the previous play, had a punt block for a touchdown in our last game of the week here against Kathleen. 2nd and long. Franson taken down by Kramer for a sack.
Franson looked unsure in the pocket, but I think it really was a coverage sack. I don't think there was anybody to throw to. Watch him, see he's moving his feet, he's looking down at what's coming at him, and I don't blame him, but I don't think there was anywhere to throw the ball either.
Sack number 7 on the year for Kramer. Franson, 3rd down, complete to Judge Culpepper, short of first down yardage.
1 yard short, 4th and 1. What does Robert Weiner do at the 49-yard line in the state semifinals in the first quarter?
Epic moments already in this one.
He normally goes for it. That's his MO in a general sense. But I'll tell you what, that front 7 for Lakeland, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but man, are they active, and can they stop you short? He's already seen that quite a bit.
Branson still talking to Weiner, and he will come in on 4th down. Critical play early on here. Lakeland already up 7-0 on the James Robinson 37-yard touchdown. They go big, handoff up the middle. It's gonna be close.
I think they gave him a good spot. And the ball, the marker is right on the blue line, and so it will be a first down. But I don't think he got there. If we're right, we are really, really close to the mid-stripe. You tell me if this football crosses the mid-stripe. I don't know where or what referee saw, but I got to credit the Dreadnaughts. That's a stop.
That was Joe Ryan.
There's no way that ball went a full foot across the line through that 50-yard line. No way.
Joe Ryan making that carry, their starting middle linebacker, his first carry of the season, according to our stats. Plant with a big 4th down conversion on its first drive, but trailing Lakeland 7-0 here in the first quarter of the 7A Region 2 semifinal. Ryan on his first carry of the year getting a huge 4th and 1 conversion for Plant on its first drive. Panthers have the football, first down from midfield. Murphy bounced outside and lost yardage. Lindsay LaCory, the 3rd member of our broadcast team, is down on the sideline to chat with us a little bit. Lindsay?
Hey, Rishi. Well, we want everybody at home who didn't make the trek out here to Polk County to get involved with us on social media. Rather, it's real easy. Just tweet at BHSN. Make sure to use the hashtag GOWTB. Actually, a few Dreadnaughts have already done it. Landon May and James Robinson getting in on the action pregame. We're going to read the best ones on air, so make sure to hit us up.
Thank you, Lindsay. 2nd and long for the Panthers. Branson with time rolls right, looks downfield, and it's knocked away. Good coverage by Torian Hampton to knock it away from Judge Culpepper.
Yeah, it really was. And there was a split second where he probably could have snuck it in there to Culpepper, but Hampton does a great job coming all the way around him, doesn't touch him at all, and knocks that ball away.
Jeff Lindsay was just talking about, you know, folks who are not here yet, not the most Plant fans that we expected. A lot of traffic coming in. It'll be interesting to see if that crowd picks up here later on in the game, because you ran into the traffic on the way in. I did. We still may be backed up out there. Third down. Keaton Baldwin off the pitch. Takes a big hit, moves forward, but not quite forward enough to pick up the first down. Another 4th and short coming up.
Well, Hampton is still down. He may have some concussion-like symptoms right now. He comes up and makes a critical 3rd down tackle, and he's done that plenty of times this year, but you just never know when that one's going to come.
Hampton, a critical member of that secondary, the 6'4", 190 senior. He has an offer from FAMU. We saw the big punt block in that Kathleen game where he scored a touchdown as well. Didn't even play his junior year to focus on basketball, and nice to see him getting up. We'll hope he can return to the game. Here's another look at the play.
Well, this was just a foot race of 2 missiles going at each other. And they stop him 4 yards short, 3 yards short. You know, Stephen Yaffe, I'll bet you he can hit a ball from 60 yards away, but I don't think in this situation that you do that. This is where I always would have my quarterback be the punter. Anytime you're past the 50-yard line, it's a weapon so that maybe they don't put anybody back, and if they do, then you know what, go for it. You're past the 50-yard line, you're in a playoff game, go for it. And here comes Dane Franson once again.
Yaffe attempted from 53 yards last week against Sickles and did not get it. So 4th and 3, already 1 4th down conversion for Plant.
The center holds the ball so far back, it's actually well underneath his body.
Plant will take a timeout here, so they couldn't get him to jump off sides. Hey, we've seen some big 2nd round games over the years, but maybe not to the magnitude of not only this game tonight, but another one going on in the state or regional semifinals.
In the 2nd round, Plant versus Lakeland, St. Thomas Aquinas versus Dwyer. You know, those 2 games, I mean, I don't know the numbers. You guys are probably better at that, but it's probably like 20 state championships between those 4 teams are playing on one night in the 2nd round of the playoffs.
Coach Weiner says he doesn't know the numbers. In fact, he does. It is exactly 20 state championships between them, and no score in that game. Can you remember a year when you've had 2 games of that magnitude in the 2nd round?
No, that's it. I mean, normally that's set up where you know they meet later on in the state semifinals, and then the finals not here in just the 2nd round. So, I mean, it's great for us, for the viewing public. It sucks for either one of these teams to get knocked out in the region semifinals when they are as good as, or you know, probably as good as the teams that'll make it to the finals.
Offense back on for 4th and 3. Branson steps up, has the first down, and takes it to the 39-yard line. 2 4th down conversions already on this drive for Plant.
I was surprised on the quarterback draw, and I thought a linebacker would come and get up closer to the line of scrimmage and be able to stop that. They don't, though. Franson picks up the big first down. But I'm thinking if I'm Lakeland and that any similar type situation comes up again, I'm sitting in there and I'm tackling that quarterback at the line of scrimmage.
Nice block there from Karch Hawk to the center. He's only 205 pounds, took on 285-pound Avery Edward and opened just enough room for Franson. 1st and 10, Keaton Baldwin, flag on the field and nowhere to run. And Plant will march back the other way.
Lucy, a minute ago, I mentioned how Karch Hawk has the ball actually underneath him. It's not out in front. So you always hear neutral zone infraction. Based on the way he has the football, there is no neutral zone. So there's no way for us to have a neutral zone infraction.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
The neutral zone is usually the space of the football, and I believe you have to have the football out in front of you. I don't think he's allowed to do what he's doing, but the referees are gonna, if they let him get away with it, then, you know, that's what you do.
Is that something that Lakeland can take advantage of?
Well, they play so far away from the ball as that if they jump, they're not jumping into the neutral zone, but they have to play off a little bit because of the way he's doing it. Let's see, his feet are all the way to the bottom of the football.
Yeah. First and 22. Swing pass incomplete. Was looking for Scoop Bradshaw.
This one, Franson wishes he had back. People think that that's an easy pass. It's not. Any of those ones that they're running directly away from you, it's actually a pretty touch pass, and he just missed it.
Well, we have our first tweet of the night. Adam at AdamM0312. Plant's run defense looking pretty good, but they can't stop Robinson. I'd say that's a pretty accurate assessment so far.
Got to put a second guy over the top. We'll see what they do the second series.
Branson, Keaton Baldwin off his hands, almost into the hands of Felipe Fernandez. Incomplete pass will bring up 3rd and long.
Fernandez would have been able to catch that because it was tipped, but he's so conditioned not to touch the football. Looked good at the start, but you looked at, he would have been tackled right away. This is 3rd and 22 long ones.
Franson faced off in his first career varsity start last season against Byron Coward. Talk about being welcomed into the big time. Held his own the best he could, and now he's getting offers. 3rd and 22. Branson downfield looking for Fillior, and James Robinson got the right handoff to knock the ball away, incomplete.
The defense looked like they were going to play cover 2 over the top, but the safety came down like a robber, and Robinson all by himself out there knocks this ball away. Again, the height advantage right there as you see him going up against Fillior, much bigger.
Stephen Yaffe in for our first punt of the game. Back to return is Young. Bobbles the snap, nearly blocked it. He got crushed by Danqueris Longs. Here comes Young. And Young crosses the 30 to the 33. We'll see what the flag is after the run. It looks like running into the kicker is the initial indication.
It's an automatic first down. The roughing the kicker is an automatic first down in high school football, and he was there so early because Yaffe muffed the snap that he got there in so much time, but he doesn't touch the football. You have to get the football. He hits Yaffe, kills him,
foul.
Even hits him head to head.
Roughing the kicker. Defense, 15 yards. First down.
Roughing the kicker is an automatic first down, whether it's the punter or the kicker.
Boy, Yaffe took quite a blow on that too. That's not the first time he's been.
Sorry, this goes helmet to helmet if you look at that. And it's not a, you know, I'm trying to go helmet, I'm not targeting, I'm trying to go block a punt, but he just got too high on him. And I mean, I thought they stopped him at the 50-yard line. This extends the drive. Now this one puts another first down, really putting your defense in a tough situation to stay on the field this long.
Over 6 minutes on this drive for Plant so far. Keaton Baldwin, first down carry to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, the Lakeland offense just came out so hot, you know, throwing the ball. I mean, Plant's defense did well on the ground. They go down the field, score. They haven't seen the field, and it feels like forever.
Well, look at what happened, too. They got 2 fourth-down conversions and then a 3rd and 22 wiped out, or 4th and 22, I should say, wiped out because of that penalty, the 15 yards on the roughing the kicker. 37 yards on the ground for Tykees Keaton Baldwin, 2nd and 5. Branson gets the blocks. Stiff arms to the 25-yard line, and that's close to another first down.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a first down, right at it. And this is Dane Franson. This is what he does. Get out here, just keep running, stiff arm, get a few, just keep grinding. A lot like, remember a guy named Tim Tebow?
Yeah, I think I may have heard his name once or twice.
I mean, that's what it looks like. Just a guy that just grinds, you know what I mean? He can do it through the air with his legs, just keeps playing the game.
Franson had 128 rush yards and a touchdown last week against Kathleen to go with his 143 pass yards and 2 more touchdowns. Inside handoff to Murphy and gains a couple before he is hit by Damari Mathis. 2 yards on the carry. Murphy, a nice change of pace running back for them. You'll see him at receiver 2. 7.9 yards a carry this year.
When we saw him against Armwood a few weeks ago, he was the man. Number 5 was everywhere. Offense, defense, he did a lot more than we expected coming into the ball game.
Had 50 rush yards in that game. Pitch to Keaton Baldwin. Blocked for Murphy this time. Hurdles a defender. Flag on the field. He took it to the 16.
It's going to have to be a holding call out there on the play. You said Murphy did a nice job kicking out. I'm not sure if it was him actually holding on and that's the call or not. 3 or 4 guys out there trying to extend their reach. Fernandez doing a good job up front. I don't see how that's called a hold at all if that's on Murphy.
Holding. Offense. 10 yards. Spotted, foul. Second down.
When you got a guy squared up and he spins around on you and you're just pushing on him, that is not holding. Maybe he saw something else inside that we didn't see, but that's a tough one to go against Plant.
Nonetheless, it pushes them back, and they've had the ball, Jeff, since about 8 minutes to go in this first quarter. 8:50 to be exact, and now they've held it for 8 minutes. Play action pass and rollout from Franson, and has knocked down Torian Hampton, who left the game with an injury earlier. Looks just fine.
Well, he certainly made a great play right there, and you got to have your faculties about you to be able to do this. Comes up, you got Franson coming out on the rollout, and you got to worry about his feet, and he jumps at just the right time, bring up another 3rd and long. This defense has just been fabulous.
Franson 1 for 5 passing so far, and another 3rd and long. Plant has found a way to get first downs throughout this long drive. We'll see what the Panthers have in store here.
Deep coverage over the slot back here at the very right of your screen. That's a deep safety.
Handoff, Keaton Baldwin barrels his way to the 21-yard line.
That's got to be Stephen Yaffe territory. You don't keep the ball all this time and risk not putting any points on the board, do you, Raph?
I don't think you can. Keaton Baldwin, one of the best kickers you're going to find. First team All-State in Class 8A last year as a kicker. We saw him get crushed punting the ball earlier this drive. And he's in to attempt a field goal from 38 yards. Nice length on the kick, and it's right through the middle. Stephen Yaffe has Plant on the board. And after a drive that took 7 minutes, 8 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock, Plant has its first points of the game.
I tell you what, you talked about Yaffe getting hit. Stephen Yaffe, Dane Franson, and my son were all on a Carrollwood Day School middle school team together, and I was calling plays for him. He was my speed running back.
Wow.
This guy knows how to deliver hits. Same with Franson. These guys can run and hit. So even though Yaffe's just a kicker these days, I mean, he's actually been playing hurt all season long. You know, he's had a torn labrum in his shoulder, so he doesn't want contact. It's great to see that he jumped up and was able to handle that. But this guy ran all over the field for me. He's got great, great speed as well, besides that strong leg.
Lakeland has been dominant in the first quarter this season. You see the numbers there. 135 to 33. You can make that 36 now as the Plant Panthers get on the board, but that's a great way to play football. You get up on your opponent and you make them try to come back. You grab them by the neck right away and take them down.
I guess Lakeland's got to call that a win after all that, to just give them 3. I mean, that was a long time on the field, and thought they had him stopped a couple times. That's what football, you know what, these kids are human and the referees are human too.
Boy, this has the makings of a heavyweight bout, doesn't it? I mean, you get those first 2 drives much different, but both with statements for both teams. Yakpi's kickoff, and the touchback parade continues for him. 2 for 2 in this game. Lakeland will get a snap before the first quarter ends. The best of Bright House Sports Network is available on local on-demand channel 999. You can watch the game of the week anytime you want. Just go to the sports section, pick game of the week, and find that game that you're looking for. You can also go behind the scenes with the entire Bright House Sports Network crew. Bright House Network's local on-demand, free and exclusive to Bright House cable customers.
We don't even know really what these guys want to do offensively. They've only had a handful of plays.
A.J. Davis slides by a couple of tacklers to the 25, and that'll bring the first quarter to an end. 1 big drive for each team. Lakeland with the long touchdown pass to James Robinson with the 7-3 lead after 1. 7-3 your score. Lakeland over Plant after 1. This quarter brought to you by the All Sports Medical Program at All Children's Hospital, Johns Hopkins Medicine. From x-rays to big plays, we've got you covered there at All Children's Hospital. Here's a look at our Bright House Sports Network's top 20 poll. A matchup between 2 and 6 here. The heavyweights moving on in the first round of the playoffs. Jeff, what stands out to you when you look at that board?
Well, that's just a lot of good football. I mean, it's a big board still. You know, all those guys on the right side, most of them aren't playing anymore. That top 10, and even in Brandon, Admiral Farragut, River Ridge, still in it. Tampa Bay Tech, they're all in it. But no, I mean, just we're here. It's playoff time, and those are great football teams.
So Lakeland, with the second play of this drive, went 7 plays, 80 yards for a touchdown on its first drive, and A.J. Davis pushes it to the 25. 5 carries and 1 yard so far for Davis.
Run defense is jacked up and ready to go. There's no room for Davis at this point. They're going to have to spread it sideline to sideline and see if they can use speed and see if that works. Usually Plant's got plenty of that as well. But right now up front, it ain't happening.
Look at that. Plant in 9 wins, 42.8 yards per game. And the losses, a little bit more yardage. A.J. Davis averaging 134.5 a game. Nothing so far for him today. Movement on 3rd and 5.
There was a lot of movement going on. I'm not sure what the referees are going to say who moved first. Lakeland went in motion. I'm not sure if anybody moved.
Prior to snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That'll make it 3rd and 10. Jeff, this Lakeland offense has done some special things the last few weeks. 55 against Sickles, 35 against Kathleen, 36 against Blanche Ely. This is the time you want to be at your best, and the Dreadnaughts seem to be. A.J. Davis in motion on 3rd and 10. Passes through the hands of the intended receiver, Tariq Young. First incompletion for Hotchkiss, and Plant's defense coming up big here.
They put everything into the short side of the field. This really surprised me with all that green and all their athleticism to put all their receivers, they even motioned into the boundary, and everything was jammed up in there and just didn't look good. It was a bad pass.
So we'll see our first punt from Lakeland tonight. Sashawn Stewart in to kick it. Matt Hessen standing near midfield waiting to receive. Hessen, ball is loose. Flag on the play, picked up
and Kelvin Broom is going the other way into the end zone, and we will see what the deal is on the flag. I'm guessing that this is coming back and will be Plants football.
Don't spend too much energy or calories celebrating and jumping around, because you're going to be on defense and you're actually going to be on your own end of the field, because it's going back 15 for running into the returner. That's interference. He hit him before the ball ever came down.
Robert Madden.
That's a, you know what, if I was a punt returner, I would never do the job. It's the hardest job in football. He did a fabulous job. You stand, you wait, and then run at the last second and move, and you cause that. That was caused by Hessen, and that is a fabulous play, defensive play if you want to call it that. He created that penalty. It was an awesome thing to do. I'm surprised more guys don't do it, actually.
Coach Wiener told us this week that he loves Hessen because he gets into the heads of his opponents. It's exactly what he did there.
Sure did. No, this, I mean, it's a great play. You're just stand there and look like you don't, you're just hanging out. You're waiting for that ball to come down, and then jump 3 steps ahead. You're going to run into guys all the time. Actually, last night there was an NFL game, Titans and Jaguars, and a guy got up too close to the guy's feet and ran into him as well.
Kicking team. The ball will be accepted at the spot of the foul.
Huge call. Robert Wiener will take it. He did not want to see anything like that happen, but with the result of the penalty, he'll be fine to start with the ball near midfield.
See, I was thinking he was going to get a penalty, but they picked the ball up and ran it in for a touchdown. You don't want the result of the play, right? And then a 15-yard penalty.
Right.
So they have to go ahead and accept it where it lies.
Plant went 20 plays, 60 yards, and 840 on its first drive. That kept off by the 38-yard field goal from Stephen Yaffe. This just the second possession of the game for the Panthers here in the second quarter. Clock failure. Nice moves to work his way onto the other side of the field and into Lakeland territory.
So Lakeland's offense on the field and off the field, because Plant's defense did such a nice job on the ground. Here we go with the offense once again. Boy, if they stay on the field for 5 or 6 minutes, it's gonna start making it tough for Lakeland, as they're just not touching the ball enough.
It's the way Plant's done it all year. Grind it out, get the yards, move the sticks, and score in any way that you can. Failure on the reception this time. Breaks some tackles inside the 40, down to the 33-yard line. Ball looks like it came loose.
Give this ball outside into space. Plant has plenty of athletes as well.
Failure picked it back up. First reception for the leading receiver of this Plant offense. Trina off the fake, runs to the 30. Franson, I should say.
It looked like he wanted to throw it outside and saw somebody he didn't like. Take it back inside. It didn't look like he wanted to run that ball, just did it because he didn't decide to throw the quick screen outside.
Picks up 3 or 4, 2nd and 7. Keaton Baldwin up the middle. Tripped up before he can get to the 25-yard line.
Lakeland's defense commits to the run on this play. They like a lot of the 2 deep zone. Everybody in Tampa's used to the Tampa 2 and all that stuff. And Lakeland plays a lot of 2 safety zone. This time they blitzed the guy off the slot man and brought that safety down to commit, and still got it. I mean, Plant still got pretty good offensive play. They'll live with these 3rd and 2s and 3s.
Franson, close to the marker, extra effort, gets him the first down.
I think if you want to define Dane Franson, that was the play. He was stopped, and he makes the play anyway. This is what we're talking about, the Tim Tebow factor of just, he's going to go in there, he was stopped, and he's going to get you the first down. Just keeps working, keeps his feet going, just like you like running backs to do. He does it as a quarterback this season. Last year, he was just a stud fullback that ran out there and was a lead blocker all the time.
Big backfield for the first down carry. Keaton Baldwin, flag on the field. And we just saw that toughness of Franson, Jeff. Here's what Coach Weiner had to say about his junior quarterback.
The one thing we knew from the beginning was we knew that he's just a tough son of a gun, and he really is. I mean, he's, you know, for his height, he's probably 5'10"-ish, you know, but he's got probably the neck size of someone in a much bigger body, and so we always make jokes that he's going to run into a, you know, a tackle with his neck and knock somebody over. If he gets down to the goal line and it's him and one defender, he's not trying to run around that guy.
He said he likes the fact that he's able to run over defenders. You gotta love that toughness at QB. Penalty is against Plant. We'll move him back and make it 1st and 15.
The great Robert Marv called some fantastic games of his. He just recently retired from the Canadian Football League.
Hence the Blue Jays hat. Keaton Baldwin, first down pitch. Torian Hampton with the ankle tackle to push him back to the 30.
Now here's the epitome of an open field tackle and how you're supposed to do it. He just hung, waited for the commitment, lunged at the right spot, and pulled him down. We've had both sides a lot of long yardage situations so far early in this half.
A lot of tackles for a loss. Gotta love the atmosphere here at Bryant Stadium. 2nd and long. Franson running every which direction, sneaks free. But that defense with Danqueris, Long and company not going to give him an inch.
I started holding my breath there as he was getting pushed to the sideline for that long a period of time. You know, you just want to go down so that you don't get hurt. Again, he's gonna, right now it looks like he is going to play very, very conservative. He is not gonna throw an interception. If it's open, he'll throw it. But other than that, he will not. He is gonna trust his legs and live to play another down. I think he's got, what, 8 touchdowns and only 1 interception or something in the last few games. A very good conversion ratio.
3rd and 20. Franson steps up. Hit hard at the 30-yard line, and it'll bring up 4th down. Again, Stephen Yaffe has the big leg. This would be a 47-yard field goal. What does Coach Weiner want to do here?
I think you kick it because Yaffe's pretty darn good. I think on that one, though, we've been talking about how great Dane Franson has been doing and everything else. He needed to throw that slant route to Fillier. Fillier, I think, is going to go over there and say, come on, man, you got to throw it. I'm open. And I think he was, and he should have thrown that ball.
Coach Weiner told us that he likes to kick long field goals because worst-case scenario, the other team starts at its own 20. This from 47 yards would be his longest of the season. Yaffe. No good. And Lakeland holds on with that 7-3 lead after the missed field goal.
Pretty good ovation for the home crowd. They like what they see. It's good, a pretty good stand for Lakeland there.
Water break on the field. Lakeland dodging a bullet as Yaffe misses the long field goal attempt. The Dreadnaughts still with that 7-3 lead here in the 2nd quarter. Plant and Lakeland met in the state semifinals here at Bryant Stadium in 2009, and we got one of the greatest runs we've ever seen. James Wilder carrying nearly the entire Dreadnaught team into the end zone for the touchdown, capping a long first drive. That set the tone for the Panthers all night, and the defense would do the rest for Plant on that day. Wilder did it on the ground with over 100 yards, and then here it's Eric Dungy, Tony Dungy's son, picking off Jared Hagens here the defense would pitch a shutout here at Bryant Stadium, and then capping it off, Alan Sampson, a 52-yard touchdown run. Plant got the victory, moved on to the state championship after the 20-0 win, and ended up capping that off with a state title. Another amazing year for their program. Big hit on 1st and 10. Bo Peak, the first to meet A.J. Davis and the rest of the defense there after he spun off.
Bo Peak is just lighting it up in this first half, meeting him deep in the backfield and putting a pounding on the running game.
Nice spin move.
I think I'm running away from 96 from now on. I'm not going in there anymore.
That was just Lakeland's 11th play. Plant has 29 so far, but it's the Dreadnaughts with the 7-3 lead with 5:06 left in the second. Xavier Allen, the only running back here on 2nd and 13. Hotchkiss to James Robinson, and Pat Cooper knocks him down across the 20-yard line. Robinson has had a huge game so far, has the 1 touchdown in this game and 4 catches for 95 yards.
And this is a win for Plant on that. You know, he catches it, that's good, moves it up, but you know you're going to come up with a long 3rd down situation. So credit Pat Cooper for making a solid tackle. But if they don't convert this and give the ball right back again at the 50-yard line to Plant, it's going to start being very tough on Lakeland's defense. They got the lead, so you can't say too much, but they're going to need more out of their offense before the end of the night.
Both defenses have been up to the task. And we have a whistle. Timeout, Lakeland. Lakeland, just one of 2 Polk County teams that are still alive in the playoffs this year. Last team standing from a county that we've seen so much success out of. Lake Wales playoff streak snapped. Same with Winter Haven. And then all those 1st-round losses, but 2 teams still with a shot at it. Victory Christian is at Foundation Academy tonight. Has made it to the state title game 2 straight years, but 6-5 this season.
They lost a great quarterback, coach's son, who really led that thing. He had Caleb Lewis had one of the most outstanding state title games that I think I've seen in a long, long time.
Bill Castle's team with a critical 3rd down coming up here. The first drive, Lakeland marched down the field. James Robinson with the long touchdown reception. Haven't seen much since. Hotchkiss, pump fake, short, throwing long. Robinson just over his head.
Gotta tell you, this is just bad football from an offensive philosophy standpoint. Throwing a post route into double coverage, and even the 2nd safety over the top gets to be a part of this play. Did you see him coming over there? They're saying that we can only throw it to James Robinson. He's the only guy on the field that we can throw it to. They've got double coverage over the top. It worked early because they only went single. Now they are doubling over the top. You've got to throw it to another receiver.
Even with all that, nearly got it to the big play man's hands, but instead, more good field position likely coming up for Plant. Stewart to punt to Hessen. Hessen receives at the 45 and to the 48-yard line. More good field position for Plant to start. We have all kinds of big-time recruits on the field tonight. Recruiting Central has all the latest buzz from the recruiting world with analysis from experts across the state as they break down the top prospects from the Bay Area and Central Florida. Whose stock is rising? How does a commitment impact your favorite college team? Find out on Recruiting Central Tuesdays and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. on Bright House Sports Network, your home for high school sports. Plant back on the field. Had a field goal after a 20-play drive on its first possession, then missed a long field goal on its last possession. Keaton Baldwin broke the initial tackle, but brought back by Jaquarius Smith. Great center on that offensive line for the Panthers. Karch Hawk, Lindsay LaCory with more on him.
Yeah, Rishi, well, he is in line to be Plant's valedictorian. He would actually be the 4th one under Wiener to win that award. Plant actually has a think tank, but Wiener says he never needs extra time to study. They call him Robo Center, and what allows him to thrive is his knowledge of multiple positions. He started as a QB backing up Rex Culpepper, and then it was his skill of long snapping that got him playing time. He moved to linebacker, so his positional journey really afforded him the experience to be a star at center.
Thank you, Lindsay. Picks up the block as Hawk here on 2nd down. Branson's pass intercepted. This Lakeland D making a play when it needed it big time. Jaquarius Smith, the sophomore, with his first interception of the year.
Rishi, we were talking about the last drive of being very, very conservative and not just throwing it to throw. This time he gets a guy in his face and can't get anything on it. I'm not sure that would have gotten there no matter what. Smith does a great job. He's standing right next to his receiver, doing his job, and turns it back over for Lakeland's offense, just what they needed.
They call the young man Jack. He's split time at that starting linebacker position this year and done a little bit of everything. The 3 sacks, now the interception, and all those tackles for a loss. And Lakeland back in business. It's been the James Robinson show for him so far. A.J. Davis still trying to establish.
It's interesting because they keep putting him into the short boundary. Now they're going to go to the wide side.
Young is the man Hotchkiss looks for, this time incomplete along the sideline. Pretty good coverage there by Cooper. Actually, that's Javon Hodges on the defense.
If they knew they wanted to throw the ball too young, they gave him a chance by putting him out on the wide side and putting Robinson into the boundary, taking those guys away. But just too much green, not able to connect.
There's that Dreadnaughts band. It's loud here anytime you come. One of the best home field advantages in the state, all kinds of traditions. Whether it be the helmet cart, the ROTC pathway to victory. They got it all here at Lakeland, and they got the lead right now, too. Flag on the field. Pass complete to Xavier Allen, and this will likely be coming back. A legal shift. Xavier Allen had 5 touchdowns last week in the win over Sickles. 75 yards on the ground, too. We saw how good he was in our last game of the week against Kathleen. Really a breakout star.
Illegal shift. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Yeah, he's got an absolutely great build to play fullback, but he's coming off limping as the low tackle comes in and hits him in the knee.
He was dealing with headaches all week long, did not have any contact until Friday. Weren't even sure if he was going to play tonight, but this big young man is a gamer. Unfortunately, hurt on that play, too. Second and 15 from the 25. Ball went to the ground, but the play never happened as the flags go. False start on the offense.
You know, Lakeland over the years has been a very penalized football team, but they're always so good that they overcome them. Tonight against Plant and how stifling the defense is.
Legal shift. Offense, still 2nd down.
I'm not sure that they can overcome these long yardage situations, not only on a regular basis, but, you know, once or twice. It's going to be a very, very tough sled against this Plant defense. They're just not getting off the ball right. Moved twice on consecutive down.
2 consecutive penalties, 6 overall. Pitch sweep to Tariq Young. Leaps the defender across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
You know, I think that's one thing. Plant's defense over the years, I don't think they give up a lot of long runs. They may give up yardage over time, but they don't give up the big play. I don't think they're going to find that this running game is going to break open a 67-yard touchdown run, you know? So they're going to have to be more successful through the air, more consistent, obviously, not just, you know, giving up yardage because of penalties.
Plant only giving up 64.7 rush yards per game and total 120.1 yards per game. What a defensive season for the Panthers. We knew this would be one of their best defenses they've ever had. Certainly has fit the bill. Hotchkiss sets up the screen for his tight end, Branson Brown, on third down. Nothing given there. Thomas Allen on the tackle, the son of USF defensive coordinator Tom Allen.
Well, they had the receivers out wide. They roll out that way, trying to pull everybody there, but you can see that Plant wasn't fooled in the least. Thomas Allen makes the tackle, but there were plenty of other guys to help him as well.
Allen's father usually finds a way to be at every game. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do that tonight because the Bulls are playing a big-time showdown against Cincinnati, a pair of 6-4 teams at Ray J. So far, his son has made him proud tonight, but Plant still trails. Even with all that defense, hasn't been able to get in the end zone.
Yeah, after that initial drive that looked so fabulous for Lakeland, it feels like Plant is just dominating this football game. To me, it does. It feels like they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. They're not making the mistakes. They're making plays, big hits. And they're losing 7-3 right now. It's, you know, we're at halftime.
Seems like Stewart's been out to punt every 5 minutes here, and here he goes again. Very nice kick over the head of Hessen. And what a bounce he gets to, all the way out of bounds near the 20-yard line.
That was a fabulous punt. That thing, I don't know.
55 yards they're going to give him on it.
I don't know if he kicks that textbook, but boy, it comes off of his foot well. Even the other ones, you know, they're up in the air and they're moving. That one just kept turning over and confused Hessen, and then the roll off of that was amazing to get all the way to the sideline.
We know it's win or go home. A lot at stake for these two teams tonight. Plant, 8th regional final appearance in the last 10 years, if they can get it done. For Lakeland, first regional final appearance since 2011. Plant just got its 11th consecutive first-round playoff win last week. Hasn't lost a playoff opener since 2005. These two programs, every year, the goal is state championship, and one of them will have that goal defeated at the end of the night. Tykees Keaton Baldwin on the first down carry may have gotten a yard.
Well, and we'll see how Plant wants to play this last minute 15 as the clock is rolling. To see if they're content going in at 7-3, if they're going to change things up. They don't want to make a big mistake at the 25-yard line and give Lakeland a chance to go up 14-3.
We saw the mistake on the last possession when Franson threw the interception to Smith. 10 carries, 54 yards for Keaton Baldwin. 2nd and 8. He'll get it again. Spin move to the 26. Kelvin Broom on the hit.
Yeah, it looks like they are content to go into the locker room down by 4.
See if they even try to run another play here.
They don't have to, and if Lakeland lets it go, then here we go, halftime.
Third and 4 if they get it all.
I'm not sure why they would at this point.
Keaton Baldwin, tackle, and that'll bring us to the end of the first half of play. A lot of defense on both sides. Plant has controlled the ball, but right now Lakeland controls the scoreboard. Lakeland up 7-3 at the half. Lindsay LaCourie with head coach Bill Castle of the Dreadnaughts.
Coach, what stands out to you from the first half?
Gosh, we're getting abused up there in the offensive line, and you know, we hadn't got a lick of running game going, and if we don't do it, it's going to be a long night for us. You know, I hate to abandon the run and start throwing every down, but if we can't get it going, we're going to start throwing more.
How do you create some looks for AJ and Xavier?
We're trying to do it, but if we don't block them, it's hard to get them looks.
Thanks, Coach. Richie.
Thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Coach. Bill Castle didn't love the first half from his team, but he has to like the scoreboard at the moment. 7-3 the score. Lakeland on top of Plant in this mega matchup. Time for halftime. It's Rock Riley in the BHSN studios. Rock. We knew we'd have a good one here tonight, and Lakeland and Plant's defense is dominating in the first half. Lakeland with a 7-3 lead here at halftime at Bryant Stadium. Jeff Carlson with me. Jeff, didn't see a lot of offense in the first half, but you want to break down some of the good offensive plays? We'll start with Keaton Baldwin here.
I thank you for the opportunity, Rishi. Appreciate that. This is great game planning, and this is exactly the look that they wanted for this play. Just a huge gaping hole on the left side. Look at both the nose guard and the linebacker on the hash, and then the next defender is way outside of Fernandez on the left tackle, so there's a huge space, and then they even open it up even more and see the double team inside, and you see that right there, the block. And Keaton Baldwin, he could put his foot in the ground and go right at the referee, but watch as Bryant comes in, he looks like he is gonna go up, and the defender comes in, so he puts his foot in the ground and makes a great move. That was one of at least the prettier plays in the first half, and it was nice for Plant as they dominated, at least time of possession, stayed on the field, and this happened really early in the game, and Plant did not make this mistake any other times in the half, and that is leaving Robinson one-on-one outside against Pat Cooper. This is just a mirrored play. Both receivers go long, quarterback. Take a look at the free safety right in front of you. You react to him. Scoop Bradshaw turns to the left and goes up to the top receiver. So Hotchkiss looks left, throws the ball up in the air. And this isn't even a great pass. It's actually quite short. But when you've got that size advantage, he puts his foot in the ground, stops, goes up, gets the ball at the top, and makes the touchdown catch. And really the only offense that Lakeland was able to generate in the first half at all. I mean, we see 93 passing yards, 3 rushing yards. How often has that happened in the history of Lakeland football?
Seriously. Yeah, A.J. Davis shut down in the first half. Robert Wiener saying, hey, we want to stop the run first. If we can do that, then we can get them into situational football. And ever since that first drive, that's been the whole deal in this one.
Well, they've pulled Scoop Bradshaw over the top of Robinson for the rest of the night, but they've still done great up front. I mean, you got to give it to Bo Peak. The whole front seven is doing a good job, but Peak is just disrupting. I mean, he is Warren Sapp up there disrupting and creating chaos in the backfield, making big hits.
In spite of all that, Lakeland does have the lead. As we said, Plant had the first half that you would want him to have in terms of ball control, but Lakeland with the lead. Let's send it down to Lindsay LaCour. Lindsay.
Thanks a lot, Rishi. I was able to catch up with head coach Robert Wiener. He referenced the 20-play drive in the first half. He said it was the longest play in the history of football that did nothing, went nowhere. He said they have to get in favorable yardage situations on drives like that and come away with more than 3 points. I asked him about Franson, and if he was being too undecisive, he said no way, 100% pleased with the way he is playing. Just making too many decisions too quickly, and then when he does have times, takes that extra step to stay in the pocket, his receivers aren't winning their routes. So he says if they can block up front, win some routes, they have a good chance in this game.
All right, Lindsay, thank you very much. You know, Dane Franson in the biggest game of his life as a starting quarterback, and Plant has a history of having some great quarterbacks on the field. We thought Rex Culpepper would be another one this year, but he's out with the ACL injury. Here's a look at just a few of them on the list. Culpepper, the Syracuse commit. Philip Ely with the big year for Toledo this season. And Jeff, you look at that list, it's pretty impressive.
No, if you go to Plant, you're going to go play college football as a quarterback, and Coach Wiener's done a great job with a long list of guys, and continues it right now. He doesn't have a pocket passer, that kind of guy, but they still have a future. Dane Franson doing a good job. He's not going to be that pocket passer. There's Rex Culpepper. 6'3", 220. That guy is just strong. I'm surprised he's only 220. He's probably dieting to stay down there. I thought he was going to get up there even bigger than that, but that guy's a workout horse. And Dane Franson, he's not going to be a pocket passer, but he could definitely play at the next level and do all these read options that everybody likes to do, as Robert Marv is in there getting it going. Some intensity.
You take every advice from every former player that you can at this point, and you know, when you have the history of a Plant, when you have the history of a Lakeland, all those guys come into play, and when you have a matchup like this, wow, doesn't get much bigger. Well, Coach Weiner had told us this is the most he's ever enjoyed coaching a football team, and he's had some great teams. He's had 4 state championship teams, but he loves the way that these guys come to play and practice every day.
I think he's making a point about this team, and he's right. They don't have the superstars, so it is more about team. But I think he has done a great job with the group, year after year after year. But I was still, my mouth was a little bit open. Robert Marv used to be a string bean. But that guy is jacked up now.
Yes.
But the fact that actually I played on the Buccaneers with his father, and Eugene Marv, his father, was really jacked. So he's got great genes for building muscle, I'll tell you.
Walt Fillier receiving the second half kickoff for Plant, which deferred, and great job by the Dreadnaughts special teams. Plant will start inside its own 10-yard line to get things going there. Now Plant's first drive of the day, 20 plays in 8:40, capped by a 38-yard field goal. Since then, in the 3 drives, 14 plays, 43 yards total. So that Dreadnaughts defense has stepped up, and most of those plays were on Plant's second drive, in which they missed the long field goal.
Rishi, I don't have a stat in front of me about field position start, but this has got to be by far, maybe almost 30, 40 yards, the worst starting position for Plant, whereas Lakeland had the worst field position throughout the entire first half.
Keaton Baldwin, who had a pretty good first half with a minimal gain on first down. In the middle to take him down, Avery Edward, the junior, 6 feet, 285 pounds, of pure power in there.
As I said, that field position just reminded me that that last possession was at the 20-24 line. Outside of that, they had very good field position throughout that first half. Just not able to take advantage of it with only 3 on the board. That also doesn't happen very often for Plant.
This Plant team knew they'd be in this crazy atmosphere, and Coach Weiner hoped they would thrive on it. They were well prepared. At practice every day, they have speakers at each 30-yard line blaring music, and that's not just for this week. They do that every week, so they've been prepared all season for this moment. Keaton Baldwin, right-hand side on second down, close to the 15-yard line.
Rishi, as you bring that up, though, I was just talking to somebody here at the stadium about the speakers. We used to have a speaker right at our heads, and they would blast music between every single play. I'm thankful that they're not, but it changes the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Here we are, hello. But there was a speaker, as we're talking, that they have not been playing music out of those speakers, and it used to just drive our broadcast crazy, but it changes the atmosphere in Plant's favor.
Plant was 2 for 8 on third down in the first half. Franson rolling out over the middle, and it is nearly picked off. Good defense by Torian Hampton, and incomplete pass on the third down.
Yeah, Hampton had a better chance at this than Fillier did. It was so far behind him, he wasn't able to get it, but here it is. The best opportunity for Lakeland to take advantage of offensively if they don't run into the punter.
Yeah, that cost them on that first drive, the 20-play drive for Plant, and ended up in a field goal. You're right. Lakeland hasn't had this kind of field position all day, and Stephen Yaffe set to kick to Tariq Young. Flag on the field, and may even be closer to the end zone.
Lakeland made most of these mistakes at the line of scrimmage in the first half. Plant opens up on their first drive and making it even harder, kicking it away from the 10-yard line.
Ball start. Offense. 5 yards. Still. 4th down.
That's referee John Ferrara. And back to return again, the dangerous Tariq Young. He already has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season. Coach Weiner said, hey, in terms of a future, maybe James Robinson has the better future, but as in terms of a high school player, as there's another flag on the field.
And it's going to go all the way back to the 5, because even at the 10, just half the distance to the goal is only 5 yards, so it should go right back to the 5-yard line.
Prior to snap. Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
4th and 15 from the 5. As I was saying, Coach Weiner said Tariq Young may be actually the better high school player than Robinson. They're both dynamic receivers and playmakers, and Young inside the 45-yard line hoping to receive this punt in good field position. Yaffe's kick won't even make it quite that far. Bounces back, and Lakeland will take over possession at the Plant 41-yard line. Again, extensive playoff history for both of these programs. Bill Castle has 6 state championships. Robert Weiner with 4 for Plant. 2 of the most prolific programs in all of the state. Lakeland has that long-term history, Jeff, but Plant as good as it gets over the past decade or so.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more accolades for either one of these coaches that we can talk about. 2-time Coach of the Year for each one of them. I'm done talking about it. They're just too good. And they just continue to be here in the playoffs, deep playoff runs year after year after year. That's why, you know, failing here is a tough one for either one of these programs.
Best starting field position today for Lakeland. Looking long for Young as Hotchkiss catches it, but out of bounds. Hotchkiss took a big hit as Bo Peak came and knocked him down.
I think you guys got to give him a chance. This one's, you know, it's out of bounds, so you don't give him a chance. They get their one-on-one look. Plant has not been giving them the one-on-one look. We highlighted it during halftime, and now all of a sudden you get the one-on-one coming out, and you got to give your guy a chance to make the play.
You were mentioning a minute ago that Bill Castle and Robert Weiner were both Coaches of the Year. 2 of only 3 2-time winners of the Florida Dairy Farmers Coach of the Year award. Only Tim Harris has also done that as A.J. Davis breaks free, and he's into the end zone for a 40-yard touchdown.
Rishi, I said that Plant would not probably give up a long touchdown run. Nobody was around Davis. This was untouched over the left tackle. Let's take a look. I mean, nobody got close.
Lakeland was held to 3 rushing yards in the first half. Davis reeling off 40 right there, the 4-star recruit running back who everybody's coming after. Extra point is good by McDonald, and Lakeland takes the 14-3 lead.
And what did field position do for them? Let's take a look at it once again. Really surprised at the huge hole. Look at the left side. They crush down and kick out. And that's textbook blocking on offense. They all down block on the left side. They bring a guard out, kick out, and there is a huge hole there. No linebacker to fill.
2 plays, 40 yards in 16 seconds, all it took. Jeff, you pointed it out before they got the ball. They haven't had field position all day, and when they finally got it, took advantage right away.
They sure did, and even the first play, they missed a huge opportunity on throwing the ball out of bounds. I mean, right now, that just worked to their advantage very well. And Plant now needs to get a good return. They need to get this ball moving. I thought the last return failure just a little bit indecisive. Needs to, you know, when you're a kick return, you just got to go. Get this thing out of their own end and get some offense rolling.
Lakeland, no stranger to playing well against great defenses. Last week faced a Sickles team, giving up only 7.2 points a game. All they did was put up 55 points, 3rd most in the history of the program in the playoffs. Kickoff into the end zone for a touchback. Lots of great juniors on the field tonight. 3 of them, well, 2 of them are on the field. Jawan Burgess is not there, but James Robinson and A.J. Davis have both made themselves stars tonight. But you look at Burgess, Jeff, a guy who was a transfer from Blake. They hope to have on the team this season, but had to sit out because he transferred from one Hillsborough County school to another. He's good to go next year, and is getting a ton of looks and offers from all kinds of schools.
They missed that athleticism that they could have had.
Keaton Baldwin breaks free. Continues to dodge tacklers down to the 32-yard line. Tykees Keaton Baldwin, 49 yards, over 100 for the day.
I do not think a penalty is going to come here at the end of this, but Kelvin Broom kicked a Plant guy down. This is just what the doctor ordered for an anemic offense so far in the first half and into the third quarter. Pete Baldwin, he looks a little bit like Doug Martin,
yeah,
the
a little
Buccaneers.
bit. Yeah.
Kind of thick, little low to the ground.
A little bit taller, but yeah, he still is. I think that's a pretty good comparison.
That was a strange ending to that play. I thought I was going to see a 15-yard personal foul go against Lakeland.
He was fired up, was getting Baldwin as well after that. Coach called him his unending spirit, and here is Franson on first down, dodged Matt Kramer. Picks up 2 or 3 yards.
Well, Wyatt Burnett was right behind him. I don't know why he didn't make the tackle back there. Positive yards, that's what Dane Franson usually does.
Well, some of the Panther crowd who made the trip, 2nd and 8. Franson steps up, ball is knocked away. They call it an incomplete pass. Throwing arm looked like it was going forward. Flag comes in at the end of the play.
Looks like it's going to go against Plant.
What's your thought there? It looked like he got the pass off.
We got a dead ball foul. Unsportsmanlike. Defense. Sportsmanlike. Offense. Offset. However, 2nd down.
I actually did not see the replay to see the arm moving, but it was just too much. The receiver is open at the beginning. You got to throw the ball. They're trying to do too much. He's rolling to the right and doing all that extra. He's open. Just throw it to him. That is a incomplete pass, I believe. I don't think as you move forward and the ball does come forward, I think you're always going to get an incomplete pass call on that.
Definitely was close either way. The 2 penalties wipe each other out, so 2nd and 8. Keaton Baldwin sprints to the left. Ball comes out this time. Plant able to recover. It was Bryce Jenkins, the junior left guard. Actually, Cameron Calderon.
Calderon just saved the game, gave them a chance. This could have ended. I mean, we got a lot of football to play, but boy, oh boy, could this have really changed the game.
Torian Hampton, who's been all over the field, forcing the fumble there. Result of the play, a 1st down, and Plant will take it. Plant hoping to wear on this Lakeland team in the 2nd half. For the last 2 years, have had a conditioning program more intense than any that they've had, and we'll see how it affects them in the 2nd half. Franson to the 15. This team has been working out at the Performance Compound in Tampa on Cypress Street. NFL players were working out with them, guys like James Wilder, who we mentioned earlier, Nelson Aguilar. And one thing that they've been doing, Jeff, is looked back at this point in the season on all the work they put in the offseason. They try to verbalize it in the huddle and give themselves an extra spark and say, hey, we're going to be in better shape in the 3rd and 4th quarter and wear down our opponent.
It is definitely a mental, fantastic thing to have. It really works, even if you're not, as long as you believe it, right? But this team, I think they spend more hours and more time than just about anybody in the nation in preparation for their games.
Timeout, Plant. Yeah, part of the program, they even did some extra things too. They did some yoga on Wednesdays. They would go down to the beach and run in the sand and run in the water for some extra conditioning. And Coach Wiener said, you know, they started this program 2 years ago, and then they amped it up a little bit this year, where he had a trainer kind of tweak the workouts they were doing, and what he decided was it's not just about the workouts you're doing, but how you're doing them. It's very much a science, the way that they executed it in the offseason.
I think Robert Wiener has pretty much everything he does down to a science. He has his teams come in on Saturdays and watch film from, 10 to 12, and then he just stays there and works on the game plan for another full day's work.
Commitment all the way around. That's how you get excellence, like what you see at Plant in those 4 state titles. Coming up tonight after the game, stay tuned for High School Scoreboard. It's a full recap of all the Friday night playoff games. You'll only get it on Bright House Sports Network. You'll get the best highlights from all the do-or-die games. Live analysis from the studio will take you all the way until midnight. Bright House Sports Network, your home for high school sports. And it's only available to Bright House Network's customers. So Plant still in business after the fumble recovery. Franson to the end zone, intercepted. Kelvin Broom cuts cross field. Flags on the field, but Kelvin Broom making the play of the game for the defense, the senior linebacker with his first interception of the season.
Flags are all down, but I think these are all after the interception, so they should be post-possession for Lakeland. This should stand for Lakeland as an interception. Again, hitting with pressure in his face. Something happens down here late. That one right there is a penalty, is what they called. They put the ball on the ground. They were able to dodge that bullet. This one I do believe is going to stand for Lakeland, and they should be on offense.
There is an injured Plant Panther at the 10-yard line. Hard to see who he is from where we're at.
This is to the goal. First down.
Bryce Jenkins, we believe, is the man on the ground, and he's being helped up here. The junior guard who has made some big blocks tonight. Coach Weiner has been so impressed with this team this year. He continues to throw different wrinkles at them, says, I can't even throw enough at these guys. They've had such a great attitude, they've worked so hard, and they've gotten to this point. You know, when Rex Culpepper went down, no one knew quite how the offense would respond to it. They've been just fine. Their 2 losses this year, very respectable, at Colquitt County in Georgia, one of the top programs in the nation, and at Armwood. As Lakeland starts its possession inside the 5, and ball comes loose at the end, but they say the play was dead.
Well, it starts at the 5. Now after this is there'll be a tackle for loss and move them back about 1.5 yards. This is now Plant's opportunity. As we mentioned, Lakeland had their opportunity when Plant was deep in their own end. This is Plant's opportunity. They're down by 11. They've got to do something both defensively to get the ball back, but then their offense has to convert, of course. But this is their opportunity inside the 5-yard line now on second down.
Xavier Allen, the young man you see riling around in the end zone.
Same knee that he got hit on when he caught that pass.
He's been a real revelation for them here late in the season. Against Kathleen, we saw him make several huge runs in that district title win that got them into the playoffs to begin with. And then last week, the 11-carry, 75-yard, 5-touchdown performance against Sickles in the first round of the playoffs.
Just an inside run, but it looks like his ankle's being held back underneath that as he's getting pushed over the top. That was an awkward position to get put in.
That ankle had been taped up earlier in the game.
Left leg taking a tough one tonight.
So look at James Harrell, the defensive coordinator for Plant, former Florida Gator, and played in the NFL for the Lions and Chiefs. And big deal for them to get him back, Jeff, in 2013 after he was the head coach at Jesuit.
Absolutely, and I can't imagine what he was thinking on that long touchdown run by A.J. Davis.
Down in the end zone is Hotchkiss. Ball comes out.
Pick it up and run.
No whistle has been...
There's no whistle because, well, he was laying down on the ground with it. I was thinking this is the NFL. He could pick it up and run, but he was laying on the ground when he picked it up, so it's a safety.
Yeah, you saw Plant. They were signaling safety before the ball came out, and the ball was still rolling around the ground.
Yeah, they had a chance for a touchdown.
George Madden, who is the leader of this offensive line, able to save it from being worse than the safety. But what a play by that Plant defensive unit to get the 2 points.
Yeah, that is what the offense needs, is a defensive stand and points to be scored, and now get the ball back after a free kick from the 20. They'll take it. It was their opportunity we talked about, and they took full advantage. That's a best case scenario. Of course, they could have fallen on it for a touchdown. That would have been even better. But getting the ball back with great field position with so much time in the third quarter. An opportunity to get down by 1 maybe. 9 points, still two possessions.
Very much a ball game between these two heavyweights. Again, the Plant Panthers, 4 state championships. They won them in 2011, 2009, 2008, and 2006. On the other sideline, Bill Castle, and all that experience in 40 years, he has won 6 state titles. 86, 96, 99, and then 3 straight from 2004 to 2006, the second longest streak in the state. You see him right there. A lot to be proud of here at Bryant Stadium. You couldn't ask for a better second round matchup tonight. Plant just got the 2 points on the safety, hoping to get some great field position. The fireworks going off in the background. Whop Fillier from his own 20. Follows the wedge, breaks through, still going. Inside the 45-yard line, Whop Fillier using those blockers to his advantage to take it into Lakeland territory.
Lakeland got the momentum in the first quarter with their big touchdown throw. They got the momentum to start the second half, but it has flipped and switched, and Plant now has momentum in the ball at the 45-yard line going in.
You see that Plant sideline and fans getting rowdy. Fillier with the spark there. His real name, Mr. D'Angelo Elise Fillier, and he got the crowd riled up, and his team back in good field position, down 9 points here in the third quarter. Lakeland got the touchdown, Plant got the safety. What will the rest of the third quarter have in store? We'll find out after this.
Welcome back to Bryant Stadium. The Dreadnaughts up on the Panthers, 14-5 right now in this regional semifinal. Pleased to be joined by a 2-time Plant State champion, Eric Dungy. You won one by going through Lakeland in 2009. What do you remember about playing against Lakeland in that state title run?
It was just so much fun. They had a great team, great program, and just a whole bunch of just amazing athletes on the field. And then, of course, I had that interception late. That was just one of my more favorite high school memories.
Coach Wiener said that you were a guest speaker earlier in the year and that you had a message for them about respect and fear. What is that message, and how do they handle this atmosphere?
Obviously, you want to respect who you play, but at the same time, no matter how crazy the environment is, it's pretty crazy right now, but you can't fear who you're playing against. I kind of just try to tell the kids that, you know, go out there, respect who you play, but play hard and just play like it's any other game. Advice for the team as they trail right now? They're looking pretty good right now. They're losing right now, but I think the momentum's on their side, and so just keep fighting, and eventually I think they're going to pull it out. Thanks so much for a little bit of your time. No problem. Thank you. Go Plant. Rishi.
Excellency, Eric Dungy. Not only the success at Plant, also playing at USF and Oregon, the son of Tony Dungy, and penalty against Plant will move him back.
Pretty good analysis too there. You know, maybe he has a future there.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty for a spotted foul. First down.
The momentum has moved over, I think, to the visiting team, but they have not proven that they can do anything with their offense. They moved it inside, and then they fumbled, and then they threw the interception. They have not proven that their offense can score a point.
Branson keeps, breaks the tackle to the 43-yard line. Now, Dungy talking about his message with the team, and he's a guy who would know with his experience through the state championships and all the success he's had, and Dane Franson trying to lead his team in that direction.
That one looked like it was going to go for even more than that. He comes up a little bit gimpy, though. I think they put Trina in to keep Franson on the sideline. They are. Franson is staying on the sideline right now.
Kyle Trina has plenty of experience this year. Has thrown for 724 yards and 10 touchdowns. Will hand off to Keaton Baldwin, and the hole diminished immediately. Avery Edward and company there to make the stop.
And that is, when you see that backup quarterback come off the bench with no plays at all, I would have loaded up all 11. I wouldn't even have guarded the wide receivers and just blown it, knowing that they're going to hand it off. They're not going to have a guy run off the bench and then throw the ball against you. They did a great job of stopping that right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and long, Franson back into the game.
Franson and he and Trina are best friends off the field, have handled this situation well all year as they have rotated at times. Big 3rd and 8 for the Panthers. Time to throw for Trina. Incomplete. And that brings up 4th and long.
Yeah, I thought they were in a bad formation on that play. I thought we were going to see a 5-yarder go against Plant to get away with it. But the errant pass, that was Franson, and it was just missed to the outside on the curl route.
Was looking for Watson. He's 0 for 4 this half, 3 of 12 for the game.
He's tender on the ankle. It's not going to keep him out, though. You know that.
Coach Weiner choosing to punt here. Stephen Yaffe, who got crushed on a punt in the first half, kicking it away to Tariq Young. Great kick. They're downing it at the 1-yard line, and Plant off the leg of Stephen Yaffe with his 6th inside the 20 this season has backed Lakeland up. Here's a look at some Bay Area playoff powers and the most postseason wins. Southeast with 39 and 2 state titles. Plant 40, 4 state titles. Armwood, who was struggling against Brandon earlier tonight, the 3 state championships. Manatee, who we saw last week, 61 and 5. And then the king of the castle, and Bill Castle, Lakeland, with 61 playoff wins and 6 state championships. Fireworks still going off in the background, and Lakeland could use some here. Backed up to their own 1-yard line. In a game we did a few weeks ago here against Kathleen, Tariq Young had a 97-yard touchdown. They run it on 1st down. A.J. Davis lumbers his way to the 5-yard line.
It looks like Plant is going to ask their defense to score all of their points tonight. Obviously, they got the field goal earlier, but I wanted to go back to Stephen Yaffe's punt. He came out, the one that was out of the back of the end zone, the ball fell awkward, and he didn't kick it well. This thing turned over perfectly, checks up at the 3, and then the perfect execution to put this ball down at the 1-yard line. That is exactly how it was supposed to be done, but that ball came off of his foot perfectly. Turns over, hits the ground, checks up, and gives his guys a chance to put the ball down there. But they're going to ask their defense to score some more points because right now their offense can't do it.
Brendan Butler was the one who downed it deep. Run again for a couple of yards on 2nd down. Yaffe, really good punter too. Last year he wasn't their punter because they had Matthew Beadle, a 2nd-team All-State punter. Yaffe's actually, as Coach Weiner said, maybe a better punter than a kicker, and as we've seen, he's a heck of a kicker too, so this kid's got a great future written all over him.
Yeah, he can do both, that's for sure. No, that one came off clean. I was watching the one that came out of the back of the end zone. They kept backing up, and then, but the drop, you know, it's all about how the ball comes out of their hand when they drop it to their foot, and it flew funny. I don't know if it got caught in the wind a little bit, but then he didn't have a very good punt. This one was perfect.
Davis, a nice job to move the sticks and take it past the 15 flag on the play, came in fairly late. Personal foul face mask, and Lakeland, which was just at its own 1-yard line a couple of seconds ago, has some room to breathe.
Yeah, now they're going to be out to the 30-yard line. This is huge. Huge to get off the goal line like that. And now they're out to the 30-yard line, and now they can basically open up their offense.
Face mask. Defense, 15 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
Jeff, this is nothing new to Lakeland. They feel like they've been playing in the playoffs for about a month. They had a must-win against Winter Haven, squeaked out a 1-point win. Then they had a game against Kathleen, where if they had lost, they have missed the playoffs, won that, and then crushing Sickles last week. This is essentially their 4th playoff game this year.
Well, they're handling it pretty well. This one run right into the heart of the defense, and nothing's been there all night long. Bo Peak and company. All those guys were there right there. I thought we saw Joe Ryan kind of helping that out from the linebacker spot. Nothing's been inside the tackles, but right off tackles where they got the big run, and that's been the only space in the run game for Lakeland tonight.
Ryan is the leader of that defense, a tackling machine, and Coach Wiener called him the best player in the whole state. When you look at his stats, it's hard to argue. 111 tackles this season, and a vocal leader too. A.J. Davis, what a run. Slipped through several arm tackles for 26 yards.
Well, the really bad thing for Plant on that play was that they had every resource committed to stopping the run. Everyone was up, and he breaks through and gets the big first down. There was nobody back to stop that, so they got through it. Even though you had everybody that you had to deploy, they were there and couldn't stop them.
81 yards now for Davis. Shut down in the first half, but he's been in his best form in playoff games. 195 yards last week in the win against Sickles as he gets the handoff again. Now up to 85 yards here in the second half. And then last year,
Joe Ryan again, stopping it.
Davis last year had 406 yards in 2 playoff games.
New fullback Irvin Michael, is we see that Xavier Allen is still on the sideline. He was standing up on top of the bench, so he's at least watching, but he's got a bad left leg, maybe both a knee and an ankle. Joe Ryan does a good job stopping that first down run.
Michael, a senior. Second down. Davis with the blocks. Michael got a nice hit on Murphy, and Davis takes it to the 35-yard line.
Looked like Hotchkiss almost missed the snap. Was able to get it out to his running back. That's really key right now, as you're nursing a 9-point lead, 2 scores, trying to run the clock as best you can down. Just got to make sure that quarterback-center exchange on each and every play. Don't take it for granted.
Remember, Lakeland started this drive at its own 1-yard line. Plant had the ball in Lakeland territory, was forced to punt, and now Lakeland, as they get the defense to jump, trying to punch another one in and put this one close to out of reach.
That goes for a first down.
Encroachment. Defense. 5 yards. First down.
The run will end the quarter.
We told you how good Lakeland is in the first quarter earlier. They're almost as good in the fourth quarter. Actually, 103 points to 42. So
they don't even need to run a play if they don't want to. They wound the clock after the penalty, so they could just sit on it if they feel like going to the fourth quarter.
Hotchkiss will run a play. Davis breaks the tackle, lunges forward to the 23, and that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. After being held back in the first half of play, A.J. Davis busting through with 94 yards in the third quarter, including that touchdown run. We'll see if Davis and Lakeland can dominate the fourth again and move on to the regional finals. Lakeland 1 quarter away from a trip to the regional final. Rishi Barron, Jeff Carlson, and Lindsey LaCory have had a chance to see 2 juggernauts go at it all night long. The 2 defenses have set the tone for most of the game, but A.J. Davis breaking through from some yardage in the third quarter for Lakeland. Here's a look at how these 2 teams compare. Nearly identical in total yardage throughout the season. Tonight, the Plant rushing attack has been the top dog, but Lakeland very balanced, especially now that they added some run to their repertoire in the second half.
I guess that's balanced, 93 and 93.
I guess.
Yeah, Dane Franson just hasn't been able to get on track with the passing game tonight. He's been running hard, and Keith Baldwin has done a good job. They just have not been able to be consistent offensively yet. And that's why they have only 5 points on the board.
Lakeland started this drive at its own 1-yard line, with a 2nd and 5 coming up. This Lakeland team losing 2 games in the regular season for the first time in a long time, but closing in on another solid playoff run. A.J. Davis the carry inside the 25. They made the playoffs 23 straight years now, 2nd longest streak in the history of the state. Aquinas has that record. Again, Aquinas is facing off against Dwyer in another epic 2nd-round matchup tonight. And it is a shame, Jeff, that one of these 2 teams is going to have to go out after round 2 tonight, because both of these teams have what it takes to make a nice run. So big 3rd and 3 here. I formation, Michael in front of A.J. Davis, the 4-star running back. Davis on the carry, Michael with the block, and Davis with the first down.
Their clock will only stop momentarily as they move the sticks, and it'll restart up in a new set of downs. That is the only thing that matters for Lakeland right now.
Davis, who came into the game averaging over 135 yards a game, is now over 100. Young man who has offers from Auburn, Clemson, Florida, FSU, and Ohio State, to name a few. Really spurred this team last week in that Sickles game. Sickles had a nice first drive, but the Lakeland defense stopped him and held him to a field goal, and then he returned a kickoff 81 yards for a touchdown. And after that, it was all Lakeland. 5 touchdowns in the first half. They keep feeding Davis, and he keeps producing. Flag at the end of the play as he takes it to the 12.
You know, the touchdown run, and then there was another one that came to the close sideline, you know, a few minutes ago at the end of the 3rd quarter, that you really see the special ability. I mean, this is a high-level defense he's going up against tonight. You can imagine what he looks like in the regular season against, you know, the average foe, but against Plant, it's not easy, and he's still doing extremely well.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot. Repeat. 2nd down.
Well, back him up. Coach Bill Castle talked about Davis being in playoff mode, where he has been at his best earlier this week. Here's what Coach Castle told us.
Last week in the Sickles game, I thought he had the best game he had of the year. So, you know, AJ, we ended up last year in our 2 playoff games with Lake Nona and Kissimmee, and he had over 200 yards rushing in both of those games. And the other night he had 195 yards on 14 carries. So maybe AJ's in his playoff mode, I hope.
Certainly has been in the 2nd half. Lakeland calling the timeout.
You know, Lakeland had a bye between this game and their last, which is a good thing. You know, they're able to get healthy. Talking about AJ, you know, get beat up over the running back is one of the toughest positions, or the toughest position to play in football, because you are going to get tackled and you go down. And so these guys got healthy in the last 2 weeks, including AJ Davis.
Coach Castle saying that it was also good for them to have that bye week, because it gave them a chance to kind of wind themselves down after that win over Kathleen. They were so pumped up to come here on their home field and win the district title, and they kind of were able to reevaluate themselves and focus on their next opponent, Sickles. And what did they do? They put up 55 points on a team that was giving up less than 8 a game. Also gave Coach Castle a chance to take his Jack Russell Terriers out and have a race with them. They both have won. So, good week all around for Coach Castle. You know, he said he's so used to the playoffs that this is like nothing else. He said a game against, you know, a preseason game earlier in the year, same kind of feel he has going in, but he's got to feel pretty good about the way his team has responded here in the 2nd half. Hotchkiss on 1st down, lofts it for James Robinson, makes the catch. Down at the 1-yard line.
Don't get a 15-yarder by turning around too much and talking to the defense. They don't let that stuff go on in high school football anymore. Watch the reaction, though. The physical reaction to spin around and make this catch at the 1-yard line is amazing. He thinks this ball's going to go inside. He goes back to the outside, and he spins around and still makes the catch. Just send that around. You'll have an offer for every single university in America.
He's almost there already, Jeff. He's got offers from everybody. Auburn, Florida, FSU, Mississippi State, Ohio State, the list goes on. He's been clutch. They push it forward.
I don't think they got set beforehand.
Yeah, there's a flag on the field, and the officials indicate offsides on the Plant Panthers, which will not move them back very far. Give them about a nose of the football extra.
Prior to snap, approach me. Defense. After distance, still first down.
Robinson with the big reception. This kid's a character too. He likes to have fun. He's a leader who fires up his team. And the big players showing up at the right times for the Dreadnaughts today. Robinson in the first half, Davis in the second. Hotchkiss keeps, and he is in. Touchdown, Lakeland.
With an extra half a yard helped them get closer. Hotchkiss just enough to make it in easily.
Lakeland has made it a 15-point game. If they can get this extra point, it would still be a 2-possession game for Plant, but they would need 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Or 2 two-point conversions, I should say. McDonald boots it. Right down Broadway. 21-5 Lakeland.
I'll tell you, Plant's defense has played quite well tonight, but Plant's offense just hasn't had the productivity to help them out and make this a better football game here late. But you can't take it away from Lakeland. They've done it on both sides.
It's been a long time since this team has won a state championship, all the way back to 2006. Chris Rainey putting on a show. 35-yard touchdown run here in the game against St. Thomas Aquinas. He had 276 rush yards on the day. Aquinas would score 28 straight points to go up 42-35 in overtime, but Jamar Taylor's touchdown would make it 42 all. And then in the second overtime, Matt Roddenberry's field goal getting it done. 45-42 on top is Lakeland. Aquinas goes for it on 4th and goal, but it's the Dreadnaughts with the stop. The Pouncey brothers would celebrate the last of 3 straight state titles for Bill Castle's team, the 2nd longest streak in the history of the state of Florida.
A couple years ago, Rishi, we did the top 25 players of all time in Tampa Bay. I said that James Wilder was the best player, but Chris Rainey was the most entertaining. He was unbelievable. 276 yards in that state championship game and 3 touchdowns, but we were up here in this booth a number of times, and the Pouncey brothers, and he ran behind them, but he also outran them and ran around them, and he could do just about anything. He was an incredibly entertaining back.
All 3 of those young men you just mentioned went on to huge success at the University of Florida and then the NFL. Rainey played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pounceys both Pro Bowl caliber players. Branson downfield, right on the money to Murphy. Foot race to the end zone, and Murphy wins it. 65 yards, and Plant right back in business.
Don't you always wonder when that happens, say, where has that been all night long? Just catch it and throw it. See, what I haven't liked from Plant tonight is that Dane Franson hasn't thrown the ball on rhythm. This is catch, set up, and throw it. Even the slants and the simpler passes, this one is just laid out there beautifully and perfect. Murphy takes it to the house. But they've been trying to roll out first, then stop, then move around, and he's been getting hit as he throws instead of just catching it and throwing the slant, catching it and throwing a go route, and giving your athletes the chance to go out there and make plays. This time that it pays off for them.
Told you a minute ago, 16 points. That's 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. They got the touchdown, and the Panthers will go for 2 here. Branson trying to beat him on the naked bootleg. unable to get to the end zone. Big stop by Lakeland.
You're right, that's called a naked when there's nobody else out there. I thought they would put a receiver out there. If they were gonna run that, they'd at least put a receiver out there. Leaves it at a 10-point differential. Had a chance to make it a one-score game. But still, that will help their kickoff team. That'll help their defense. They went with the naked boot.
Problem with that is it's do or die.
Yes, it is.
If you don't like, get there, then
I don't like 2-point conversions with only one option. I don't like that on, if it's your 4th down. That's why I don't like fades on 4th down, but for that same reason. You throw it and it's just a one or done instead of going with multiple options. That's what surprised me. There wasn't a receiver out there to throw to.
So that kills the momentum for a moment, but at the same time, Plant now just down 10 points with 9:14 to go. If their defense can get it back into the gear we saw in the first half, hey, this is a ball game. Plant is not giving up yet.
No, that just changed the whole atmosphere of this football game. It is go time for Plant. They know what to do. They've been in situations. They've been in some dire situations before. They know how to go. They know they got to go get that football, stop, get the ball back. There's a ton of time left in this football game.
How will Lakeland respond? A.J. Davis bobbles the ball at the 1. Tariq Young picks it up there. And bad field position after Davis bobbles the football.
Huge mistake. They probably tire of letting the ball go over their heads, so they get the opportunity. I'm going to get it, and instead of just letting it go through the end zone, because that kind of catching the ball like that, sideways on the kickoff, you want to be set up underneath it so that you can catch it and go like a center fielder trying to throw the ball home and get a guy out at home plate. That was a huge mistake to put the ball now at the 5-yard line. Plant has a great opportunity here.
Well, hey, the Dreadnaughts have them right where they want them because they went 99 yards on the last drive. This is a short field.
You may be right. Maybe they'll take a couple penalties to put it at the 1. What do you? Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Last drive was 12 plays, 99 yards in 6:52. If they can do just that again, they'll be in great shape.
Well, they have been running the ball well off tackle, but not up the middle. Let's see how conservative they are.
A.J. Davis finds a little room and takes it to the 9. St. Thomas Aquinas with a 24-7 lead over Dwyer in that other ultimate showdown we told you about. Armwood now has a 20-point lead over Brandon after trailing by a point at halftime. Jesuit all over Jefferson. And in a battle, epic battle between big-time running backs, Nature Coast with a 1-point lead over River Ridge late. And Jeff, I know you like seeing that Tampa Catholics.
That got out big early. Hopefully it's going to stay that way.
Second down for A.J. Davis. Joe Ryan, the outstanding middle linebacker, saying, Ryan is such a leader on this team. Coach Wiener says, hey, I just let him speak. He gives better speeches than I do. And the way he speaks to his teammates is very formal. I mean, he's a military man. He's committed to Army and very disciplined football player. And you see all those paws on his helmets. That's only a quarter of the tackles he has this year.
Big third down, 6 yards.
Plant just got the big touchdown. Can the Panthers get the stop too? Hotchkiss flings it. Tariq Young breaks the tackle and pushed out of, no, yes he is out of bounds. It was close.
Wow.
That close to staying in for a long touchdown reception. Again, we saw a 97-yarder from him against Kathleen. He does gimp over to the sideline.
Well, when I saw him break this tackle, I started holding my breath. I'm not sure if I was holding my breath because he was going to go the distance or because it was going to be a tackle there. But big conversion for Lakeland. Now they can take more time off the clock.
20-yard completion. Michael Murphy saving the touchdown. He has had a great game on both sides of the ball for those Plant Panthers.
Well, Lakeland, give them credit. They've taken advantage of the one-on-one matchups and been able to be better than the defenders in certain situations. Just enough.
7:33 to go in the fourth quarter. Lakeland trying to run some clock. Xavier Allen back in the game. Minimal pickup on first down.
Surprising that that's who they would go to, that you would choose a guy that's had a bad leg for a long period of time, critical runs. Here with 7 minutes and 22 seconds left, that you would go to a guy with two good solid legs, and but they must trust his hands that he's going to hold on to the ball.
Bad news here for Plant. Joe Ryan, the senior all-everything linebacker, is the man that we have down. You know, he just continues the great tradition they've had there at Plant with their middle linebackers, whether it was Andrew Beck, who went on to play at Texas, Mike Tate at Cornell, Mike Mirabella at Holy Cross, or Brent Thomas at Georgia Southern. They've had so many great players there. And what a story that Ryan is. You know, he was third string at middle linebacker heading into the preseason game last year and ended up being one of the top tacklers in the state.
You got to imagine this is pretty bad right now, just because I just think of who this kid is. For him to be down on the ground right now, is what a time. Your heart just goes out.
He has a bright future ahead of him, a very bright kid. Here's a look at the injury.
56 there.
Oh. Robert Hardy landed on his leg, but Ryan, the tough guy that he is, able to walk off the field with a little bit of help.
He may be all right. You know, it was extended, and he did get landed on by a person, so that's not good. No. But I thought it may have snapped just because of him staying down. So hopefully that's a good sign. He'll be able to come back in short order, actually.
His older brother Jack, a starting guard on the team last year, and nobody epitomizes Plant football like Joe Ryan. What a game he had last week. 4 sacks and 15 tackles against Kathleen. Second down for Lakeland. Pass incomplete, intended for James Robinson, and another big third down coming up for this Plant defense to try to make a stop.
This is really, you call it a bad pass. It was some kind of miscommunication because Robinson went so far inside and the ball was outside. But they did have they had a safety over the top. Scoop Bradshaw was over the top of it, really to give help. They would have been able to sneak it in there, but he was definitely over here helping on that.
Drew Miller, the man taking the place of Joe Ryan. That's one luxury Plant has. They are loaded at linebacker, so depth not an injury. Third down, Hotchkiss looking for Robinson. Shakes him off, ball knocked away. Scoop Bradshaw with some outstanding coverage over there along with Pat Cooper.
This is what I was talking about earlier. There's only he's a single receiver with coverage over the top. This should be an interception, no doubt, and Robinson almost made that catch. They did not play that well from a defensive standpoint. I think they almost get away with one there. They had the right coverage on, just didn't play it very well.
What you get when you get a playmaker like Robinson, you can throw it up into that double coverage and you never know.
But you should.
Yeah,
you shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Hessen back to return the punt. Stewart, pretty good kick. Hessen will catch it in traffic. We saw a crazy play earlier in the game where he had fumbled and Lakeland recovered and Calvin Broom brought it in for a touchdown, but they called the interference. That was close to that being very similar again.
Well, and it can be called interference even if you don't touch the man, because you're interfering with his ability to come up and make a clean catch, and really flirting with danger right there.
So what will this Plant offense do? Dane Franson coming into the game with 888 pass yards and 8 touchdowns.
Post down the middle to Murphy worked pretty well last time.
Franson, draw. Keaton Baldwin to the 45. Lindsay LaCourie with an update on Lakeland's defensive end, Matt Kramer, for us. Lindsay?
Yeah, Rishi, if you take a look at his left arm, it is all taped up. Underneath that tape is a soft brace, and underneath the brace is extra tape around his thumb. They were paying extra close attention to that. No official word what the actual injury is.
Thanks, Lindsay. Kramer, the nephew of David Williams, who was a first-round pick of the the Oilers and had a great NFL career. Completion on second down from Franson to Culpepper. Judge Culpepper, who has been dealing with a bad ankle all week long, gingerly working his way out and at least able to jog over to the sideline. Judge, the son of Brad Culpepper, who had a very good career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His brother Rex was the starting quarterback until he tore his ACL in the summer. 3rd and 2. Keaton Baldwin unable to get there. Avery Edward on the tackle.
Playing for 4 downs there, you know, you hope that the motion would show that maybe somebody would move for you and open something up, but they played it very well, and comes down to the one play as we head to the water break.
Water break on the field here. Plant trying to drive. 4th down coming up, down 10 points. Can the Panthers continue this drive and keep their hopes alive? We'll find out when we come back. Lakeland has won every quarter tonight here at Bryant Stadium. 10-point lead as we wind things down in the 4th quarter. Tampa Catholic, Jesuit, Clearwater Central Catholic, and Armwood among the local schools who've already advanced. And Lakeland hoping this final 5:27 goes its way, but Plant still in this game. 4th down and short coming up. The Panthers needing this desperately. Play action for Franson. Nearly intercepted by Hampton, but it's just as good as Lakeland shuts the door on 4th down.
They run Judge Culpepper on the tight end on the backside drag, and he's deep though, so he runs into the safeties. The safeties are back there so deep. There was no short route. You know, it's only a yard. There's no flat route for Franson to throw anybody to. He only had a deep drag route by a guy with a bad ankle. Man, it made it pretty easy for Lakeland to defend.
Time to churn some more clock here. Lakeland feeling good about its chances right now.
Torian Hampton has had a heck of a football game. We saw him from, I mean, every quarter he has made an impact play. Thought he got knocked out. Thought he was not going to be able to make it back into the game maybe. The way he made that open field tackle early. But he has just had just a whale of a game.
A.J. Davis hitting the backfield, and he's going to lose some yardage here. Great job on pursuit and initial penetration by the Plant Panthers. One guy who's not part of that defense right now, Joe Ryan. Lindsay LaCour has an injury update on him. Lindsay?
Rishi, I talked to James Harrell. He says he expects him to be able to come back in the game. It was a toe injury. Nothing that should keep him out for the last 4:46 here.
Back in right now, right on cue, Lindsay. You're all over it. Comes into the game as running out is Drew Miller, a young man who Coach Wiener said it's a disgrace he doesn't play more because he's really good, but we just have too many good linebackers for him to see much playing time. Clock continues to run down to 4:25. 2nd down, Hotchkiss. High percentage pass there. Brown inside the 45.
That's the receiver that Dane Franson needed a moment ago. Just a little guy in the flat, get it to him, pick up the 1st down.
It's only his 3rd catch of the year. The sophomore into the lineup when Sean Gill, the senior, went out with an injury. Gill went out for the season earlier this year. Was a guy they thought they could count on, and Brown has been picking up the slack ever since.
Plant's defense still has an opportunity here.
3rd and 6. Bo Peak showing frustration after jumping off sides.
Well, it's going to be 3rd and short, but it's going to be very short.
Approachment. Defense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
Give Holden Hotchkiss a lot of credit. That is quarterback savvy. Going up there when it's that situation and making that hard count, and giving your team a better opportunity to pick up a first down.
10th penalty for Plant. Could be a critical one, but still, it's 3rd down. Panthers need a stop. Timeout, Lakeland. A little confusion over there on the sideline between the coaches.
Yeah, coaches are talking to each other.
This Lakeland program, as good as it gets in the Tampa Bay area. You know, this is their 23rd straight trip to the playoffs. They've won 61 games, got the 6 state championships, and the one man who's been behind it all, Bill Castle. And boy, this guy just keeps churning it year after year. His 40th season. He's the FHSAA Coach of the Century. What he's done with this program is nothing short of remarkable, and I think everyone in the city of Lakeland very happy that he decided to stick around here for the long haul.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? The job he's doing today is more impressive than it was 10 years ago. This area has expanded. There's more high schools. There's more, even Lakeland Christian around the corner has his players that could be here are gone because there's just more high schools and they're pulling away from them. And this is an established school zone where it's not the new young families with new young kids, right? So it is harder and harder each and every year for him to continue to sustain this, and he just keeps doing it.
Now this could be another march toward a state championship as we have 3rd and short. A.J. Davis. 1st down. That's a backbreaker for the Panthers.
I think you're right. We'll be able to take another 2 minutes off here.
Coach Castle saying, hey, the most important thing for him is the preparation. He loves it more than anything. He loves practice more than the games. Says winning's fun, that keeps him in it, but he said if you don't love all the little stuff, you're not going to stick around for 40 years. They load up to try to stop the run here on 1st down and do. And Plant will call a timeout. Let's take a look at the Bay Area scoreboard right now, and the undefeateds continuing to stay that way. Armwood, Jesuit, and CCC all winners tonight. All teams that could contend for a state title or at least make it that far. As we welcome in our Central Florida audience, we've had a fun game between 2 of the top teams in this area here, Lakeland and Plant. Lakeland with the 21-11 lead with 3:03 left in the 4th quarter. Really a different story in the 2nd half here, Jeff, in terms of what Lakeland's been able to do with its running game.
Yeah, you're right. Again, in the middle, though, not a lot. Just outside of the middle, they've had some space and made the big plays. A.J. Davis really bottled up in that first half. Plant had played a very solid game defensively, but with the big touchdown run, and then he had a couple of others that were very nice. But, yeah, they've just been much better in the 2nd half running the football as a general rule.
As you would expect, the Dreadnaughts have pounded the ball here, trying to run the clock down. Plant still with 2 timeouts. A.J. Davis just had a huge 3rd down conversion a couple of plays ago after a penalty by Plant, which turned a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 1. And we'll see how much more this Lakeland team can churn it out. Inside handoff, Urban Michael down to the 36-yard line, and another timeout by the Panthers.
And that was a 1st down, but on that 3rd down, they gave away a lot of time. Lakeland could have taken another 20 seconds off the board. They went ahead and ran the play and then gave Plant an opportunity to call that timeout.
Plant head coach Robert Weiner showed a DVD to his team earlier this week of the 2009 game when his team came in here in the state semifinals and knocked off the Dreadnaughts. He said, we wanted to make sure that they knew what the atmosphere would be like. That game, they walked hand in hand right down the Lakeland sideline and showed they would not be intimidated. They've come out with a similar vigor tonight, but they're in a situation right now where if they don't get these stops, it's all she wrote. And what has still been a great season for Plant when you consider that they lost their starting quarterback before the season even began. But we all know Plant football, the expectations, state championship, state championship. Robert Weiner has 4 of them since he's been here. He's only lost 26 games in 13 seasons. But tonight, running into this Lakeland program, which has 6 state championships. There's Rex Culpepper. Amazing young man. Coach Wiener told us, hey, he can pick up any song and play it on the piano. He's that kind of kid. They're missing him. Pass to Tariq Young. And he's close to a first down. And if he has it, and he does, Lakeland will be able to churn more clock with this 10-point lead.
This is the ball protection. 2 hands on it. Nothing but get down to the ground if you get in trouble. Stay in bounds on the sideline. Put this win to bed.
Another very respectable day for Hotchkiss. 10 for 16, 159 yards, and a touchdown. He was very good in that 55-26 win in round 1 over Sickles as well. 10 for 12, 147 yards, and just seems to mature more every week. First down handoff, A.J. Davis. Kissel on the tackle as he takes it to the 22.
Now Plant can't, they stopped the clock twice there on the last drive. They are not going to be able to do that now. So this clock is going to go away pretty fast.
No more timeouts for the Panthers. Lakeland will use up every ounce of that clock. A.J. Davis, the dynamic running back, who is a 4-star recruit, ranked the 7th best junior running back in the nation. After only 3 rushing yards as a team in the first half, Davis with 104 total yards here now, running the football. Runs over the tackler and keeps his feet moving inside the 15.
With a run like that, you don't even get mad at him for going out of bounds. You can see the special athlete and runner that he is. Look at that balance, strength as he's on balance. He's getting hit and still stays up and carries the defender.
2 minutes to play in this game. Plant had only given up 100 yards to 3 teams this year. Davis has gotten that in the second half tonight. 113 yards on 23 carries. 115 yards in the second half as he had -2 going into the break. First down, Lakeland. Davis continues to squirm his way to the 10.
Well, I think they've shown us that they can play great defense against Plant's offense. They were stalwart at the front 7 all night long. And their offense has just enough, I think, with a great running back. And then they do read what we showed at halftime. Hotchkiss, they get up in a balanced formation and they have a single safety. He reads it left to right, and they've got the guys that can go down the field and make plays through the air. So they've got a good balanced attack with a great defense. And if they don't shoot themselves with penalties, you're right, they can make a run to Orlando.
Another carry for Davis. Flags flying all over the place at the end of the play. We see that final score, Vieira with a 47-17 win over Martin County. That means the winner of this game will face Vieira next week, and Lakeland 1 minute and 5 seconds away from making that happen.
Plant will not make any excuses for losing Rex Culpepper. They knew it before the season,
15
and
yards.
that's football.
It will be 3rd down.
That's just football, Different guys go down, different guys get injured. They won't make that excuse, but they will sit around, I'm sure, and think, what could have been? Rex Culpepper is quite an athlete, quarterback going up to Syracuse. But Dane Franson really showed himself well, and he is going to be a senior next year. They have a lot of opportunity, obviously. They always reload.
And that's what Coach Reiner told us. He said Branson's experience this year has been immeasurable, and he considers him a senior now. He said, hey, when you've had 10 games as a starting quarterback, you're a senior in my book. And future very bright as always for this Panther team, but boy, did they want this one tonight. Clock continues to run, 3rd down. A.J. Davis tripped up at the 22, and this is going to wind down just about to the end of the game here, and they'll have 4th down coming up.
Yeah, the referee doesn't rush it to set it up, so they actually should be able to get there. That's it.
The celebration has begun. The Lakeland Dreadnaughts, who a few weeks ago weren't sure if they were even going to make the playoffs, tonight they get the huge win over the Panthers and move on to the regional finals, where they will face a Viera team that won 47-17 tonight. The celebration continues. Bill Castle picking up career win number 395 and getting it done over one of the other best coaches in the state, Robert Weiner, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. Your winners after an impressive second half by the offensive line and running back A.J. Davis. Holden Hotchkiss with a great game and outstanding second half. He's our player of the game, standing by with Lindsay LaCoury.
Thanks a lot. How did you ultimately get this one done today, and how great does this feel?
Oh man, it feels great. We had to keep the intensity up. We had to make sure we were disciplined, not reduce some of the penalties that we always have. We just had to play Dreadnought football and come out with a win.
What changed between the first and second half with A.J. Davis and opening up some runs for him?
Well, Coach Farkas, the O-line coach, kind of got onto the line about not opening holes for him. They got him open and he ran through them.
What kind of playmakers do you have, and how many options as a QB do you have on this team?
Oh man, I got a ton. I got Zay, AJ, Tariq, James. I got everybody as a playmaker on this team.
What does this feel like to beat a team as good as Plant that your program has history against and losing?
Oh, it's great. I can't even think of what to say right now. It's great.
How hungry is your team for a state title?
Oh, we're starving for one. Starving.
Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Player of the game gets a mini helmet.
Thank you.
Rishi.
I think you'll enjoy that one, Lindsay. Thank you very much. Here's an updated look at the playoff bracket. That's your Class 7A Region 2 final. It'll be Lakeland and Viera. Coach Bill Castle telling us, Jeff, that every state championship team he's had has had a special personality. Tonight we saw the grit of this team coming out and just grinding it out in the second half and doing what it does best.
For sure, dude. And, you know, I don't think this has the superstar look. I know A.J. Davis is a great player, right? But it is not the superstars that they've had in the past. And the same with Plant, just talking about the same way. This is a team. They are going to play like a team and win like a team. It is still a long road to win a state championship, but this was a statement in the second round of the playoffs against Plant to say we have the confidence we can play all 3 phases. I think they've got themselves in a good position.
The road is long, but they are now 3 wins away from state championship number 7. The tradition continuing at Lakeland with a big win over Plant. 21-11 your final score. That's going to do it for us. Time for High School Scoreboard and Rock Riley in the BHSN studios. Rock?